Hello, everyone. It's Donna Marie, and welcome to the Best Life of Wellbeing podcast. This episode is dedicated in loving memory to my sister, my oily sister, my friend, my number one essential oils guru and expert, Karima Muhammad. On January 23rd, Karima transitioned from this physical life to the afterlife. I'm so grateful to know that I can call on Karima whenever I need help. She is my ancestor, and she is still here to guide us. Karima was an herbalist, and she believed in natural healing, natural modalities, and she has helped to transform and heal so many people's lives. Her legacy continues to live on, and this episode is to talk about the sacred way in which her body was laid to rest. So, the reason I want to share this episode is because Kay, Karima, was a Muslim woman. And as a Muslim woman, she, one, believed in the afterlife. She understood that her life would not last forever. And not only did she know that, she understood that and was willing to accept that fact. As a Muslim woman, Karima also knew exactly how her body would be laid to rest. Have you thought about and planned and communicated with your loved ones or someone in your circle how you want your body laid to rest? Have you had that conversation? Have you talked about it? Karima had a natural burial. As a Muslim, they forbid any other type of burial. So she already knew what would happen with her body. So she had a natural burial. Once she died, her body was prepared and cleansed, and in a sacred ceremony, again, prepared to be laid in the ground. She didn't have any cremation, any embalming, none of that. She was covered in a biodegradable shroud and placed in the ground and then covered. I actually think I saw the funeral via Zoom. So I didn't get a very good view of everything that was going on, but I do think there was a wooden box that covered her body, and then she was covered in the ground. There were so many options today. The traditional ways are in a casket, sometimes very beautiful and elaborate, which are not biodegradable and not great for our earth, for our planet. And we are embalmed, and the chemicals in embalming are not good for our planet either. Embalming is used to preserve the body. As a Muslim woman, Karima had to be buried within 24 to 72 hours. And so there's no need for embalming when a person is being buried that soon after expiring. But with embalming, if there's a funeral a week later, 2 weeks later, embalming could be helpful. But there are also other options to preserve the body without the embalming. For Muslims also, there are no organs removed, none of that. Everything stays intact. And I love that. I really love that. I love that she already knew what was going to happen to her body, and she made peace with that. So my question to you is, how would you like your body disposed of? There's cremation with fire, and there's also aquamation or alkaline hydrolysis, which is when water pressure is used to accelerate the decomposition of the body. Again, there's green burial or natural burial. When your body stays intact, it is placed in the ground, and it's not prepared with any type of chemicals. It's natural or in green. And for me, that would be my last opportunity to give back, to leave a positive carbon footprint in the world. So some other options, you may want to donate your body to science. You're able to do that. That usually happens almost right away after you die. And that has to be prepared and obviously discussed in advance, but that is an option. Again, there's fire cremation, water cremation. You can also have your body turned into compost, which is another accelerated way of decomposition and an earth-friendly way to use your remains. And there are many other options. Some are not available in every state, But the reason to think about this is because the people who will be caring for your body and making arrangements, if they know in advance what you want, it makes it easier for them. They'll already be grieving and they'll already be having a tough time. And so if we have a plan laid out or have some type of communication and not just the one-time communication, regular communication, then it really helps the people who are making sure they can honor your wishes. And even if you are unsure about your wishes, if you have conversation and you learn about the options available, it might be easier to make a decision regarding your plan for laying your body to rest. And that's just one part of it. The funeral is another part of it. You may or may not want a funeral. I want an interactive funeral. I want a cardboard casket, and I want people to write on my casket messages to my family, things they remembered about me, ways in which I've influenced or encouraged their life. Even if it's just, bye, Donna, we love you. I want that. It's like, the cast we used to get when we broke a bone and people would write messages on the cast. I'd like that for my funeral. And I want my funeral again to be interactive. I want my yoga friends to come and show my favorite yoga pose. They should all know that standing bow is my favorite pose. And that might change. All of the people that I've been around, there has to be some dancing and some music playing to represent my New Orleans culture. And I definitely want my New Orleans friends at my funeral, but it may not work out that way. And it's fine. But at least I have a plan and other people know what I would like, a celebration. I don't want a somber funeral. And I want people to understand that I am living my best life right now. And yes, there are circumstances in my life that don't always go well, but I am determined to find solutions. I am determined to have a positive attitude. And I am determined to make sure that my end of life wishes are communicated with my children, who will be the people honoring my last wishes. And so again, this episode is to really encourage you to think about how you want your body laid to rest. There's so many options, and it's really important that you do your research and figure out what you want, or have a conversation with a death doula. That's why we're here, to help you determine what's best for you, and to really acknowledge and accept that we're not going to be here forever. We can't hold on to the people or the things. At some point, we need to release. And right now is the time to prepare for that release. Nothing here is permanent. It's going to end. The sooner we accept that and deal with that reality, the easier it is to make these end-of-life decisions. And I will say, and I'm not talking about when someone takes someone's life. That isn't natural. But even in those times, we need support, we need a plan, and we need to be communicating with one another now about the inevitable. And the inevitable is that one day you will die. One day I will die. And please don't live life without considering that. When you think about your end of life, it really helps you to live your best life, because it helps you to focus on what your actions are, what your words are, what you're thinking. Are you having attacking thoughts about your life and yourself? If you really consider that this life is temporary, all things are temporal, then it could actually change the way you're living, change the way you're talking to others, change the way you forgive, change what you accept, and how easily you release. So important, that releasing, because again, nothing is ours. It's all going to fade away. So this is a friendly reminder that you can reach out to me, Donna Marie, Whole Life Death Doula, and we can have some whole life conversations about your end of life planning. Talking about death isn't going to make you die, but planning your end of life will actually decrease a lot of stress in your life. It will give you peace because when the time comes, you're not rushing and planning and thinking about what you need to do. You will have already made the plan. You will have already had the conversations. And then all you can do is focus on the moment you're in and the life you have and the decisions you've made to ensure that people are around you and willing to take care of you and your end of life plans.